Previously on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror.
Well, you know, after seeing the trailer for the movie, I actually did see that a long time ago. And I gotta say, I think I like the series better. But, whatever. Ah. What's up, everybody? Yo, wow, chow, hello, it is I, Zankoku, bringing you another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. Lives again, lives again, lives again, it lives again, it lives again. And so, finally, after finishing off the wonderful Tales of Terror from Tokyo and all over Japan, I have decided to move on to another quintessentially Japanese series. This time a movie series, which I think, some of it was just, actual movies and some straight to video and whatever, but anyways. It actually is one of the longest running Japanese horror movie franchise series of all time. Kind of like their version of Friday the 13th, I guess you would call it. And it is a very strange and very weird movie series based on a manga by the same name. And, of course, what I'm talking about and what I'm going to try to do epically here is Tomie. Tomie, 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 Tomie. Tomie will not die. Yes, that's the a tagline right there. Anyways, and of course there's someone's head in a bag. So what is Tomie? Well, Tomie is a large series of movies, once again, like I said, based on a manga. And so I am going to attempt, though I don't have them all in my collection, but I am going to attempt to review as many Tomie movies as I can for the duration. Actually, this is what, episode 19, right? 19? Yeah, so we still have 11, 12. So, including this one, I still have 12 episodes, so I am going to make it because I think there's only 8 films in the series. Only 8 films in the series, only 8 of them, but here we are. We're going to start with the one that started it all, the original Tomie. Tomie. No, Tomie starts off with a guy has a bag and he's wandering the streets, and someone kind of bumps into him and kind of rips the bag, and inside the bag is another bag, a plastic bag, and inside the plastic bag you get a glimpse of what looks like part of a face and an eye, and it opens up, and there we start the movie. Apparently Tomie's severed head in the bag. So, really, the movie focuses on, and I don't like this girl's name, but Tsukiko, Tsukiko. So it's Tsukiko. Tsukiko is, let's say, she's out of high school. She's living on her own. She's aspiring to be a photographer. And apparently when she was in high school, she had an accident. And because of the accident, she has sort of amnesia of the event. And she's been recently having trouble sleeping, and she's seeing a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist thinks that her trouble sleeping has to do with that accident, and is using hypnotherapy to try to get her to relive. Yes, basically retrieve her memories. God, I can't speak. I cannot speak. Well, she in her apartment complex, downstairs, that strange guy from the beginning has moved in with the thing, which is now kind of living in the box, and he's kind of feeding it. And quite quickly we find out that all of a sudden he's got like a little girl, and even further sooner that then he's got a full grown woman there. And of course, he's trying to please her, and she seems kind of, I don't know, evil. Well, we find out that the Tsukiko didn't really have an accident per se. In fact, she was involved with a murder and dismemberment of a girl named Tomie from her high school. Apparently, Tsukiko was dating this guy, but he ended up falling for Tomie, and eventually he ends up killing Tomie in front of Tsukiko and chopping off her head. And yeah, I know, it's just what crazy things people do when they're in love, right? So she kind of represses those feelings, but apparently Tomie doesn't die. That she's actually able to regenerate herself, and of course she's angry and wants some kind of revenge. Well, now we have, of course, this detective. This detective shows up, and he is kind of interested in finding this Tomie himself, because he has noticed a lot of unsolved murders where the same victim's name keeps appearing. Tomie, 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 Tomie. But why are they all unsolved? Because the body keeps disappearing. Why? Maybe because she's coming back? So honestly, this is like a weird zombie movie, right? Well, not exactly. What we do have is kind of a strange, quirky, slow churning, psychological Japanese what the fuck is going on type of situation here, where you're just trying to figure out what exactly is happening. Tomie, supposedly super beautiful, though the actress who plays her, only in some shots does she look really good, and other shots she's kind of like, But she, supposedly, because she's so beautiful, men immediately are attracted to her. And I don't know if it's because of a curse or because, she's kind of crazy and nuts. Maybe for living and dying so many times and coming back kind of makes you a little insane. Whatever. Men are compelled to do things to win her love, which usually includes murdering. And then, of course, they become very jealous and competitive. And in this movie, some people end up killing each other, to, weed out their competition, to win her hand, whatever. So, in this strange, kind of slow-churning Japanese horror movie, we get the dynamic where Tsukiko finally kind of meets Tomie, and they apparently were friends before, and, well, her plot for revenge is kind of coming together. So I don't want to go too much farther into things. I don't want to spoil too much into this, but it's an interesting and kind of novel take on the whole, what you would say, Lazarus type of situation, or person kind of gets like immortality, comes back from the dead. One thing was she always insane? I don't know. I haven't read the manga. Maybe the manga gives you a lot of insight into it. So let's get to those scores. So violence and gore, a 2.5 out of 5. Most of the violence does not happen on screen, though there is a bit of blood and some decapitations and some interesting body movements after death in a strange place to leave your umbrella. But other than that, you just really see the aftermath, and so it doesn't really have that much impact. And so there is a little bit about gore, but honestly, you would consider it kind of an average amount because you're not really seeing it happen. So 2.5 out of 5. Shock value 2 out of 5. There are a couple interesting shock moments. Most of that shock is kind of the what the hell am I looking at, or what the hell is going on. And of course the ending kind of gives you a little shock too. So, but below average, 2 out of 5. plot. Now, see, this is the thing. Is like if you just watch it the first time through, you really get kind of confused at what's going on. But honestly, the story there is pretty interesting, and besides some obvious flaws, it is not a bad plot. So I give it an above average 3 out of 5. It's basically a story of revenge and kind of madness and sort of obsession with beauty, and you know, it's pretty condensed in the movie frame, but I can see what's going on, and I can see how it's I don't know how to say, it's like layered. It's levels. It's kind of about like how people go through a traumatic experience and kind of their mind can't handle it, so they bury part of it. And the thing about how could this person come back, and then of course their vendetta and all that stuff. And I think that the plot kind of does go forward in a weird way. And because you're not quite sure what's going on, and it's not explaining things to you, like that, but slow reveal, a lot of people probably kind of shoo it off and call it incomprehensible. But I think incomprehensible, incomprehensible. I don't know. Fine. Whatever. I am screwing this up. I don't care. But that's what you do. That's what happens when you do on the fly, man. So anyway, so let's go to acting. Acting, 2.5 out of 5. I think some of the acting is but it's average. It's average. Nothing spectacular. Nothing horrible. So yeah, 2.5 out of 5. Let's get to some of the fun stuff. Nudity. Nudity is 2 out of 5. There isn't much. There's basically one scene, but it's a prolonged scene, and it kind of happens for a little bit. And she's kind of cute in that scene. Who it is, I don't know. I'm not going to tell. It's not Tomie, but anyways. So yeah, 2 out of 5. Hey, it's better than 0, right? Anyway, so enjoyment factor, 3 out of 5. It's slow pace and it feels a little draggy at times, but the way the story unfolds and the way it reveals itself, I found it to be enjoyable. I wish there's a lot more violence and gore in there. Aftermath stuff kind of sucks, in my opinion, but whatever. And I hear that the last one in the series, Tomie Unlimited, is a lot more graphic in its violence. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to that one. But 3 out of 5, solid above average enjoyment. And my overall impression, which is higher than my enjoyment factor because it's 3.5 out of 5. I think it's solid in the story element. It keeps you wondering about it, and at the end I want to watch more. And that's one of the things that kind of makes a movie stand out, is like, I know there's a series and I want to watch more, and I want to know more about what's happening, what's going on, and what can continue on in this storyline, because obviously she's not dead. And she's going to keep coming back, and I just wonder, what more can they do with these stories, if they're all going to be the same type of thing, retreading the tracks, or are they going to focus more on some different things? And I think, in a way, if a movie does that, it's kind of successful, because it does set up that franchise status. Now, if you see the movie and it's done and it's over and you're like, okay, I might pick it up again, but, I'm sort of done with this, the end, then I think maybe it's a little bad. So I give it a little bit higher than my enjoyment factor, 3.5 out of 5. I think it's a solid, eerie, creepy movie. It moves a little slowly. I wish it was a little bit more faster paced. The payoff at the end isn't as good as the pace dictates. If you're going to have a slower pace, you got to really punch someone in the face with the reveals. But it's still good enough and solid enough to get that 3.5 out of 5 for my overall impression. I think it's an above average movie, and I understand why they made many more. There's been, you know, a lot of other movies, Japanese or American or European, that try the slow burn approach, and they just end up becoming tedious and boring. And this one does a good job with that, and it's hard to do, and you know, it's hard to keep an audience, and I can understand why there's such a kind of, like, when I look at other people's reviews of this one, there's such a, like, it's either really great or it's really bad. There's no middle ground that I can see with this, is because you either can get through the slow burn and you have a reasonably satisfying ending, or you just can't get there, and at the end you're just pissed off because it took so long and there wasn't enough. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you have to, I think you can take it or leave it, but there's no, it just doesn't seem like there's any middle ground in this one. So it's either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. But I love it. I like it. I love it. I like it. I'm not like about it. I'm actually quite fond of the series, and this one's a pretty good one. So there you go. If you average all that out, it's 2.6 out of 5, 2.6 out of 5. So here it is. Tomie, one of the ones that I actually have. And oh my goodness, the soundtrack, the song, I think it's called Robbie or whatever. It is creepy. It sets the mood. It's pretty awesome. And yeah, the song, you think about it, it's not like, you know, the song itself, I mean, the singing part, because the way they do it is what makes it creepy. The music itself, I don't know, a little upbeat maybe? I don't know. Anyways, creepy, awesome. So that's it for tonight's episode. Stay tuned tomorrow where I'm going to do it, and I'm trying to do it in chronological order. And I have sources for this one, so because I don't have it on DVD or whatnot, but I have it, so here it's... so first of all, let's talk about, this is a link to last episode, which is me finishing off Tales of Terror of Tokyo, from Tokyo and all over Japan, Volume 3, Part 2, tied with Volume 1 for the best of the volumes. And over here is going to be Episode 20, my review of Tomie, Another Face. Another Face is going to be the second one in there. Another Face. Heard that one wasn't that great. It's gonna. I've tracked it down, and that's actually going to be the first time I watch that one. So it's going to be really interesting. So here you go. There's my links. Sorry that I didn't put any clips for the previously segment, but I just didn't. There wasn't anything I could easily mock in there. I mean, I guess there was, but I just didn't want to take the time. Plus the fact that, like, every time I do it, even if I disable the sound, it's like it knows. Third-party content thing, and I just don't want every video in this series to be flagged for that. So it's not a bad thing. It's not like a content strike. It's more like they're gonna put ads on it and stuff, and someone else is gonna make money off of the video. But whatever. I'm using part of their content. I gotta totally understand that, but it just sort of annoys me a little bit, because it's like, I'm just doing a review. I'm just Anyways, I'm all rambling now, so I will catch you tomorrow night. If you didn't know, I had a really, really long day. I've been up since 5 in the morning, and so yeah, I'm kind of loopy and tired. That's why I'm speaking. Can't really talk too much, and plus I had to end up watching the movie again because I wanted like some things fresh in my mind as I do the review. So anyways, there you go, links. Stay scary, skull, vodka. Yeah. See you later.